Hello, you're kicking off the Friday's edition of Qpvn English News Bulletin with Milinji and income deadlines. Vietnam promotes responsible, open and inclusive AI development. Ministry of National Defense delegation visits people affected by floods in Vietnam. Vietnam and the United Kingdoms promote defense military cooperation. On the afternoon of October the 30th in Jeonju, the Republic of Korea, within the framework of the APEC Economic Leaders Week 2025, the APEC CEO Summit 2025 took place under the theme "Great Business Beyond." Vietnamese President Lương Cường attended the event and delivered a keynote speech. The Vietnamese president emphasized that the world is entering the fourth industrial revolution marked by groundbreaking advances in artificial intelligence. Where these breakthroughs bring tremendous opportunities, they also pose risks as only a small number of countries and businesses with early access stand to benefit, while the majority of economies and enterprises may be left behind. The international community, therefore, must ensure that this industrial revolution is guided by a spirit of cooperation, creating equal opportunities for all economies to participate in and benefit from its progress. The Vietnamese president said Vietnam aims to become a high-income developed nation by 2045, focusing on breakthroughs in institutions, infrastructure, and human resources. He affirmed that APEC businesses partnering with Vietnam will ensure a stable environment, dynamic markets, global connectivity, and a young, well-trained workforce. Vietnam's door is always wide open to welcome you. We stand ready to cooperate with APEC businesses in promising areas such as artificial intelligence, digital technology, energy, biotechnology, and smart cities. The delegates highly valued Vietnam's balanced view on the fourth industrial revolution, the Asia-Pacific region's key role in the new era, and especially Vietnam's practical proposals for APEC's development direction and public-private cooperation in building an AI ecosystem. Also on the afternoon of October 30th, Vietnamese President Lương Cường held talks with the Republic of Korea President Lee Jae-myung, and he is in the Republic of Korea to attend the APEC Economic Leaders Week 2025. President Lương Cường affirmed that Vietnam consistently attaches importance to its relations with the Republic of Korea and hopes that the cooperation between the two countries will continue to see new, more substantial, effective, and sustainable changes in our views. He suggested the two sides coordinate on measures to rapidly reach the bilateral trade target of $150 billion by 2030 in a balanced and sustainable manner. He confirmed that Vietnam will create favorable conditions for the Republic of Korea enterprises to invest long-term in the country. Meanwhile, President Lee said that the Republic of Korea continues to consider Vietnam an important strategic partner in economic, trade and investment cooperation and plans to increase quotas and expand the industries receiving Vietnam's workers. At the talks, the Vietnamese president congratulated the Republic of Korea on successfully organizing APEC Economic Leaders Week 2025 and expressed his hope that the East Asian country would support and coordinate with Vietnam to successfully organize APEC Economic Leaders Week 2027. The two sides share a common strategic vision of maintaining peace and stability in Asia, international North and the South China Sea, as well as ensuring legitimate and legal rights in accordance with international law and the 1982 UNCLOS. On October 30th, a central working delegation led by Politburo member and permanent member of the Secretariat of the Party Central Committee, Trần Cẩm Tú, visited Duy Nghĩa Cam, Da Nang City to present essential supplies to residents affected by recent flooding. Lieutenant General Nguyễn Văn Gấu, Deputy Minister of National Defense, joined the delegation. After inspecting the situation, the delegation acknowledged the proactive response and unity shown by local authorities and residents in coping with the historic flood. Speaking with affected families, Mr. Trần Cẩm Tú and Lieutenant General Nguyễn Văn Gấu encouraged people to remain vigilant amid unpredictable weather conditions and continue overcoming difficulties caused by natural disasters. The delegation provided essential relief goods and affirmed that forces will stay deployed to closely monitor the situation and support local residents. The Ministry of National Defense has directed military Region 5 and units in the area to assist in search and rescue efforts, address landslides, assess post-flood damage, and help stabilize livelihoods. On the afternoon of October 30th in Da Nang City, Senior Lieutenant General Trương Thiên Tô, Vice Chairman of the General Political Department of the Vietnam People's Army, visited and encouraged people affected by floods in Đại Lộc and Điện Bàn Tây Khmer. Faced with complicated developments of heavy rain and flood in the central region, Senior Lieutenant General Trương Thiên Tô stressed that people should continue to monitor the weather situation for proactive response. He also asked military units stationed in the area to proactively update the situation of families in danger areas, prepare forces and means, promptly deploy response measures in the spirit of for on-site, be on duty at key locations, protect and ensure absolute safety of people and property, at the same time provide food for people, natural contributors and lonely elderly people. Senior Lieutenant General Trương Thiên Tô also requested leaders of units to well carry out party and political work in natural disaster prevention and control, particularly focusing on education to raise awareness and responsibility for officers and soldiers on duty, to help people in flooded and landslide-affected areas, encouraging soldiers to overcome difficulties, proactively participate in overcoming the consequences of natural disasters, properly command and reward collectives and individuals with good achievements. At this occasion, Senior Lieutenant General Trương Thiên Tô presented daily necessary to help people overcome the hardship caused by flood in Đại Lộc and Điện Bàn Tây Khmer. On the afternoon of October 29th, local time in London, a delegation of Vietnam's Ministry of National Defense led by its Deputy Minister, Senior Lieutenant General Nguyễn Trường Thắng, visited Wellington Barracks of the British Armed Forces and Leonardo Helicopters Group. At Wellington Barracks, representatives from the UK Defence and Security Exports Agency briefed the delegation on the Wildcat helicopter, one of the advanced multi-role aircraft developed and manufactured by Leonardo Helicopters for the British Armed Forces and several foreign militaries. At Leonardo Helicopters, headquarters company representatives introduced the group's history, organizational structure, and key defence products, including various helicopter models, radar systems, avionics, and cybersecurity solutions. Senior Lieutenant General Nguyễn Trường Thắng affirmed that the Vietnamese Ministry of National Defense values and seeks to deepen cooperation with the UK Ministry of Defense in defense industry development. He thanked Leonardo Helicopters for participating in previous editions of the Vietnam Defense Expo and invited the group to continue showcasing its products at the third edition scheduled for 2026. On the morning of October 30th, the Vietnam Department of Peacekeeping Operation teamed up with the United Nations Development Programme, or UNDP for short, in Vietnam to host a youth forum on women's leadership in peacekeeping and peace building. The event saw the attendance of representatives of UNDP, Vietnamese female soldiers who have served in UN peacekeeping missions, and officials, youth union members, and youngsters interested in issues of peace, security, and sustainable development. The discussion focused on the leadership role and participation of women in the fields of security, defense, and humanitarian affairs, sharing practical experience, lessons learned from their work, as well as inspirational messages for the younger generation. The event is an open exchange between female diplomats and female soldiers who have participated in foreign affairs and peacekeeping activities with representatives of youth and students inside and outside the military. The board helping to raise awareness of the role and contributions of women in international missions. Coming up next, preparation for Vietnam-Laos Trade Fair 2025 underway. Timor-Leste new milestone on path of integration. The Vietnam-Laos Trade Fair 2025 is scheduled to take place from November the 20th to 23rd at the Laos International Trade Exhibition and Convention Center in Vientiane, Laos. According to the organizing committee, preparations for the event are being urgently completed. The fair is expected to feature an exhibition area and a product display zone for businesses from both countries. The exhibition will showcase images, documents, and artifacts highlighting the special solidarity between Vietnam and Laos, as well as achievements of the Vietnam People's Army in production, socio-economic development, and the combination of defense and economy. Some 70 to 90 units and enterprises are expected to participate, with 100 to 120 booths displaying products across various sectors, including defense industry, electronics, machinery, construction materials, textiles, footwear, agriculture, fisheries, and handicrafts. Timor-Leste offers accession to ASEAN after 14 years marks a historic milestone, affirming the young nation's aspiration for integration and development. On this special occasion, our reporter had a conversation with Mr. Reup, ambassador of Timor-Leste to Vietnam, about the significance of this event and the prospects for cooperation between the two countries within the shared ASEAN community.
Thank you for taking the interview with Qpvn. How does Timor-Leste view the importance of officially joining the ASEAN at this time? And what priority will your country focus on as a new member of the region?
Timor-Leste official admission to ASEAN after 14 years of our hard working, it is an important and a special significance for the country and the people of Timor-Leste, as this is not only a dream realized, but also a powerful affirmation of the country. Mark the resilience, determination, and the hope to be an integral part of the community of this region, bounded together with shared values, common aspirations, and a collective destiny of this organization. Our accession to ASEAN is a testament of the spirit of our people as a young democracy. We're now embracing a milestone of a new area of collaboration and growth within one of the world's most dynamic regions of over approximately 600 million population that are born together in one vision, one identity, and one community of ASEAN, to a vision that we want to establish peace, stability, and prosperous life in this region with the connectivity through people to people, government to government, and business to business.
Sir, Vietnam has been a consistent supporter of Timor-Leste's journey toward ASEAN membership. How do you assess Vietnam's role and contribution to this important milestone?
Well, the opportunities and the strong relations between Timor-Leste and Vietnam has been built since we restored our independence in 2002. Vietnam has been one of the ASEAN member states that firmly support Timor-Leste's accession during 14 years of our hard working to comply with the requirements of our application since 2011. The leaders of Vietnam, the Politburo, the government, the people of Vietnam, and the private sectors, including the presence of Vietel Telemor in Timor-Leste, always stands behind Timor-Leste to be an ASEAN member state.
Looking forward, what is your expectation for the future cooperation between the two countries within the ASEAN framework?
Vietnam has been one of the key pillars of this region, that Timor-Leste always wants to work together bilaterally to pursue our cooperation in various areas of interest and benefit to the two countries. Hopefully, with Timor-Leste being ASEAN member state, we will have Vietnam embassy being established in Timor-Leste soon. Timor-Leste and Vietnam has embarked in cooperation since 2002, when we restored our independence, with one of the most bilateral cooperations that has been advanced greatly so far is in the area of telecommunication. The embassy has been working together with the government of Vietnam in identifying future areas of cooperations that of benefit to the two countries in the areas of agriculture, in the area of education, defense and security, science and technology, in the areas of information, communication and technology, and in the areas of oil and gas. Now, it's a matter of how we pursue together, after being full member of ASEAN, to have these agreements in place so the two countries can pursue with a much tangible result of achievements of bilateral cooperation in these areas that we have identified.
Thank you for your insights.
It is the end of the English News Bulletin today. You can watch the news again at qpvn.vn. Goodbye and see you next time.